welcome to Show Up, Stand Out, online visibility series for entrepreneurs. My name is Juliette Stapleton. I'm known as the Queen of Visibility, and I am the host of the show. I'm bringing you fantastic guests today. Very special episode. Tune in because we are going to talk about something that may affect your life and business and the way you present yourself forever. So I want to introduce you to my wonderful guest today, Jamie Rongstad. Jamie, all the way from Norway, by the way, is a branding and marketing strategist who helps her clients build a business from scratch through 7 fundamental pillars that all professional business owners need to have in place, and learned how to align their businesses with their archetypes to stand out authentically. Jamie, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Juliette, and thank you for having me. I'm so pleased. And hello, everybody.
Me too, guys, because this is my favorite subject. I'm even getting goosebumps like just talking about this. But you know, before we jump into the deep end, let's just talk to people who don't know what archetypes are. What are the archetypes? What are we talking about, and why is it so important? I'll just pass the baton to you to introduce the archetypes into the world of our viewers.
For sure. I mean, a lot of people don't know what archetypes are, and some know what they are, but they're not familiar with the rest of it. So yeah, for sure. Archetypes are, you can look at them as personas or parts of your personality, like a model, a little piece of your personality that affects you. And if you are what we call on a low vibration or in challenge mode, they will prevent you from doing things that you are obviously born to do. And it's our obligation, sort of, to raise the vibration of our archetypes so that we can function the best way we are meant to do.
That is a brilliant way to put it. I'm getting more goosebumps now. This conversation is going to be awesome because this is true. This is true. Sometimes things that we have, and sometimes they are just not active enough for us to fulfill the mission that we're having. And I love the whole thing. I always say that even, you know, with visibility, it's all about the energy, the energy we give, the energy that comes back to us. So in a way, this really taps into that. So we just defining these parts of our energy and what they are in charge of. But I know that you're talking about that archetypes is not just one thing, like one blanket. So there's different types. Talk to me about them.
Okay, so I operate with 3 different ranges of archetypes. And the first one that is probably most important are your personal archetypes. And each person have 12 archetypes that represent their gifts and talents, and also, of course, their challenges. And a lot of people are talking about strengths and weaknesses. I don't do that because I don't think that we are actually weak. It's just that we are in challenge mode sometimes. And when we are, it's really important to look at the challenge itself. Which pattern am I in? Because that pattern points directly to your strength, which is interesting in itself. So the personal archetypes, we are said to be born with them. They are in our DNA. And usually when we discover that we are in some sort of challenge mode, or where if we bump heads with somebody, or if things are difficult for us, it's usually because this archetype is emerging on a low vibration or a low frequency. And it's really just a pointer to what you can become really good at. If I can have an example. So let's say you have the rebel archetype. And on a low vibration or in the challenge mode, you will be a person that always discusses things, and when everybody else is finished, you are still going 10 minutes after you have a new argument. And
did you just meet my husband?
Huh?
Did you just meet my husband? Because that's who you're describing.
So yeah, so you have to have the last word, even if you're going to say it in words, in silence. But this actually points to a really, really awesome gift trait that a lot of people do not have, which is great stamina and a willingness to go on the barricades and fight causes for other people who can't fight them themselves, or even for your own cause. I mean, everybody's heard about a rebel. with a cause, and this is the high vibration rebel.
I love it. Yeah, it's really true. Even even though you were describing kind of low vibration, but as an example, I can testify. That's exactly, you just described my husband, but yet when there is a cause, it's the best person to follow. Best person.
Exactly. He will be on the case. He will know exactly what to do and when to do it, and this is a beautiful archetype. So. The archetypes, when I said they were typical patterns, they are typical patterns of energy that we all can relate to. So if I say mother, you get a picture in your head. And if I say lover, you get another picture in your head. If I say alchemist, you get a picture in your head. If I say explorer, you will get a different picture in your head. And it's like the archetypes are small models and patterns of behavior and thinking and feeling.
So to summarize and just to make it clear, it's not that you just have one archetype and that's all you are. It's just different parts of your personality sometimes could be more active or less active. And this is what the archetypes are, those parts in you. And most of us have a lot, or all the archetypes are present in some way.
Exactly. So not all the archetypes. We tend to have 8 personal archetypes that mean more to us than all the other archetypes. But those are the personal archetypes. And then we have the money archetypes, and they usually we are also born with them. They are in our DNA. And they tend to emerge when there is a question about money. And they tend to also emerge through the challenges with money, like money blocks that you learn growing up, and you learn that money doesn't grow on trees, and rich people are stingy, that's why they are rich, and money burns a hole in your pockets, and all these things that we learn growing up. And depending on which archetype is yours, one or more of these beliefs will stick and become a money block.
Wow, that's fascinating. I have never actually heard of money archetypes before this conversation, so that's fascinating to me. That's my next one.
Money archetypes are awesome. So they help us overcome our money blocks, and they show us our easiest way to make money. So if you are, for example, an alchemist in the money archetypes, you will tend to be more interested in running what do you call that? A big movement. You will be more interested in running a big movement than actually making money. But in order to run a big movement, you need money. So it's like you're hitting yourself in the head, and it's your obligation again to raise the vibration of the archetype so that you can use the high vibration and the big gifts and the traits and the strengths that are in the archetype. So that's the second one. And then the third one that I work most with is the branding archetypes. And the branding archetypes will also be a reflection of your soul. I wouldn't go as far as to say that they are implemented in our DNA, because you can actually choose your archetypes that you will use to brand yourself with. I would suggest that the archetypes that you choose for your branding actually resonates very deeply with you. So if you can find branding archetypes that really resonate with you, you will also communicate your business out into the world in a much more authentic way than if you try to be something that you are not. And what the archetypes actually help us do when we are communicating our businesses is to stay authentic all through to the client.
That is absolutely amazing. So that basically brings me to the next question. How do you align your business with your archetypes? So you can shine, can stand out in the marketplace, and basically become competition proof.
Yeah. So first of all, you need to discover you need to define your 2 top business or branding archetypes. And they have to resonate with who you are as a business. So if you are doing something a special way in your business and it doesn't resonate with your archetype, you will have a mismatch right there. And it's really hard to communicate a business out into the market. Let's say you're, let's say that you are a sage, the wise woman. And the wise woman is serious. She likes to collect information. Everything she tells her clients and the marketplace and everything will be true. She is a truth seeker. Now, let's say you try to marketing this business with the jester that would tell a story and he would add something or she would add something. They would use pictures and stories and fun stuff and maybe also a little prank every now and then, you know, to communicate their business. And you would have a mismatch because that wouldn't resonate with the sage in you. Now
That's right. So you're not really actually believing in what you're trying to do. It's not flowing.
It's like everybody will see it because you will have one archetype that is really, everybody can see your archetypes because you emanate your archetypes. They fall out of your mouth, you speak them, you breathe your archetypes, you are your archetypes. And then if you try to be something else, everybody's going to see it. So it's really essential that you yourself figure out which archetype or which way of communication do I want for my business that will really resonate with my clients and myself, and how do I put myself out on the map? I had a client once and she said, I don't want the sage archetype in my business because it's boring. And I don't want to be boring. but it's really not about that. It's the branding archetypes are not about who you are as a business. It's about who you are as a business and how you communicate it to the market. And if those two things resonate, you have a business that is aligned.
That is actually so true, and I've experienced this to an extent when I came across a system, like a test that was testing 40 archetypes by Carol Pearson, and I found, I had 3 archetypes that were very, very active: magician, which is the same as alchemist, and jester and lover. And what it made me, well, that's the personal archetypes, but what it made me think about is, I really loved this because, first of all, you get to accept some things that sometimes you just kind of shame in yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, for example, the fact that I have a serious gesture thing, and it's dormant sometimes, and sometimes it wakes up. And there's a UK comedian, Russell Brand, who's kind of like a very eccentric figure with long legs, and really, really polarizing. And I think something like this lives inside my head, and then it wakes up, and I'm like, okay, Russell's awake, and I can go really crazy. And before, I would really pull back from this because I'm thinking, oh, this is not professional, this is not the way to do it. And yet this is part of that attracts a lot of people to me because I can be just as silly as I can. And I think that really helps, as you said. It's more about accepting, okay, I have this is very active, how can we use this strategically, by just being yourself. So being yourself is easier than it sounds, because sometimes we're trying to be ourselves too hard. But when you get this direction, I would call it direction, you can really accept who you are and then communicate that through your business and not feel bad and not trying to say, oh, I don't want to be, like you just said, I don't want to be a sage, although I am a sage, but I don't, because I think people will think that it's boring. And yet if you actually take it on the way it is, don't judge it and embrace it, nobody will ever think that it's boring, because you will be attracting people who are attracted to that particular type of archetype. Is that
exactly? But sometimes, like with another client in the same group actually, and she also has a sage, but it's a personal archetype. And of course, when you take the test and you don't think about what you are as a professional, you will answer the questions as if you are a private person, and you may come out with a quite different result as a result of that. So she also came out with a sage, but when it came to her branding, we started working with that. And I said, ditch the quiz, don't worry about it, let's look at what you have. And she decided to go with the ruler and the humanitarian for her branding, because that was a really good fit for her. And of course, they are also parts of her archetypes. So
Yes, yes.
given that you have 8 personal archetypes, you can always find something that you can use for your brand. So, and this makes it a lot more aligned. And it's a very, very distinct difference between just being who you are and being who you are as a professional business.
Exactly, because when we're talking about branding, we are also talking about controlling the perception of who you are. So
Exactly.
we have to do it strategically. It's not just being yourself. I deal with this all the time because I encourage people to go, to be visible on their personal profiles on Facebook, and they're like, oh, but I'm a private person, I don't want to do this. But it's not about being, personal. It's about being strategic, about being yourself and strategically deciding how to come across, So if my brand is kind of like, I put makeup on and, I dress up and somebody else will just feel, and I feel natural at this, but somebody else will feel like their natural state is actually being, no makeup and,
down.
that's okay. Yeah, down to like, in walking around in the forest, I don't like doing videos when I don't have a good light on, just because that's the way I control my, how people perceive me.
Exactly. And this is so important. And can I show this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, because you said you are the Alchemist archetype.
For the brand, we're going to give you something at the end of the show, but it's a quiz, and I took the quiz, and I knew it already, but yes, I came up as an archetype, alchemist.
Yeah, okay, so I have this quiz, and she took the quiz, and she came out the Alchemist, and this is only one of her 2 branding archetypes, but it's the main branding archetype, and it will show how she can show up as an authority within her own brand. And if you look at her, I mean, you can even see it, the Alchemist. The Alchemist is all about transformation. And the Alchemist is really, really good at taking complicated things and pulling them down and making them so easy and simple for other people. And it doesn't just sound simple. They actually manage to make it simple. Highly innovative, highly creative, inventors, and visionaries. That's the Alchemist in a nutshell. And the brand soul of the archetype is to wow people, and you do that, you wow people.
I do that, but I really don't. It comes out. I can't stop it, guys. It just comes out of me.
That doesn't matter. It just makes your personality really cute and nice and approachable, which is awesome. And the Alchemist is all about let's make magic together.
That's true. That is true. And can I share, guys? So this is the quiz I took today, but actually about a year and a half ago, that's how I came across archetypes in the first place. And even if you are one of my students, you know that I mentioned this when we're talking about the brand. I mentioned how it changed if you look behind me right now, I have a transformation, which is the butterfly, right? That I picked up completely subconsciously. I did not look for a particular symbol. I went to the shop. I think it was something like 10 euros in the local supermarket. I just said that would look nice on my wall. And actually then over time I realized the transformation, this is all I'm about, right? You have a look at the back there. There's an eye, there's a third eye. When sometimes, and again, if you're a student of mine, you might have you might recall a conversation in the beginning when I say you have it, and you'll be like, no, I can't do what you're doing. I'm saying, no, I see this, I see it, I don't know why. The magic wands at the top, and these are all these kind of things. It helped me when I discovered that my archetype is magician. My personal archetype is magician. I have a jester, and I also had a lover, which is communities and all that. But magician was the most important one, and it gave me such a power, to be honest with you, to just step into, take responsibility for this. So if I started really not being shy of saying, I guarantee transformation. If you were in my 11-day life video challenge, I say transformation is guaranteed, because I see people being transformed, in that short period of time. Yeah. And it just helps you with confidence, actually confidently showing up and say, well, this is what I do. I see what you don't see. I transform you because this is part of who I am. And I thought that it was so empowering. It really was.
Of course. I mean, discovering your branding archetypes makes everything about branding so much easier. It makes it easier to discover and define your brand promise. It makes it easier to go by your values. Everything is aligned. It's funny though, because if you look behind my back here, the picture I have there, it's actually Phoenix. The picture is called Phoenix.
And your archetype?
I'm an alchemist too.
I knew it. I knew it. When I saw that picture, I was so drawn to it, and it's absolutely fantastic. See, this is what we're talking about, being drawn to each other.
Exactly. I mean, so when you discover your branding archetypes, and you really, and it's not a party game, guys. This is serious business. If you really dig into your archetype and really get to know your archetype and really align with everything that has to do with your archetype, everything that falls out of your mouth, everything you surround yourself with, everything you do in your business will just fall so naturally. It's not going to be, you never have to sit there and think about, who am I in my business? How am I going to talk about myself in my business? What am I going to do today to show up authentically? You will automatically do it because you are so aligned with everything that you are.
I think that you also, because you're communicating this to yourself, you're also attracting people. So for example, like we were talking about, Alchemist and transformation. So I am attracting people who are ready to transform. They don't know how, they don't know, they feel maybe overwhelmed, but they're definitely ready to transform. So everything I'm saying is, as you said, it just falls out of your mouth. The words come out, but you're also attracting. So you never have to worry. And I know there's a lot of people who always think, who do I serve? Well, start within. Start with yourself.
Yeah, because I know a lot of business coaches online, they always start with who your special client is. And I think that is important. And I do have that as one of my 7 strategies, of course, but figure out who you are as a business before you do anything else, because if you don't, you're probably not even going to find out what you totally love to do in your business.
I love that you said this. This is the biggest aha moment in my business was, don't wreck your head who is your ideal client before you realize what's your ideal life, and then what you want to do, and then who you want to serve, and what are the best people who you want to serve. Then you start shaping out of those people, like what's the ideal client actually. And then sometimes you think it's ideal, then it turns out not so ideal. So so it's true. You can't, of course, it's important for your marketing to come together. It's important for making money online, but it will take time. And first you really need to focus on your why and your dreams and your life, what you want, on yourself. And I'm so, thank you so much for saying it out loud. So I don't feel I'm the only one who says it.
You're not the only one. But you have, can I pull out one of your other archetypes that is really important for your business? And I'm not sure if it's even your branding archetype, probably might not be, but it's definitely one of your personal archetypes. Which is the lover.
Yes, it is. It's actually, it was of the same level as magician. In the test I took, there was a few that you could see. So yes,
it's the equivalent to the romantic, and the romantic is excellent at creating atmosphere and really nice environment for all your clients, and everybody feels welcome, and you just create that kind of space for people where they can emerge and evolve and grow and prosper and change in a very safe surroundings. And that is really important.
You honestly, you just described exactly how, and I know everyone, guys, if you're watching it, if you're my client or a student, just comment below, say yes, because I know this is exactly what's happening. And guys, what helped, that archetype, what helped me in my business, it helped me with creating my community. It took time because, you have to have your brand authority before you get the membership going. It's like everybody wants passive income, but you have to go to a certain stage in your brand and in your business. But when it happened, but the fact that I had the lover and I said, okay, this is going to be atmosphere, community, family, things I don't actually necessarily do in my real life here, because I always say like I'm no social life and no friends, I just have a family, but I've created this family online. So again, you know, this is just, I'm not like, it's not look at me, I'm so great, right? Just a disclaimer. This, we're talking about how embracing the archetype can really,
Exactly.
really make it easier for you, because a lot of things sometimes are scary to do, especially when you haven't seen results yet. You know, you're scared, you know, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? But when you embrace this, it's just so natural, it flows.
Yeah. And like, you know, the lover has another trait too. It's, you know, as a lover, you will be excellent at creating this feeling of luxury and beauty and, you know, all these things that we, abundance and the feeling of being rich and
Well, you just made my day.
It's an atmosphere for growth, and it's awesome.
That is brilliant. This is something I didn't know, guys, and this is brilliant. You know, so I'm like, stick around. Abundance and luxury.
For sure.
So, okay, let's talk about that quiz, because I'm sure now everybody's sort of like, give me that quiz.
Give me the quiz. The quiz is, I don't actually remember how many questions they are, but probably 8 or 10. It's a picture quiz, and you just go and you answer some really easy questions, and it's very good if you feel for the answers from the inside and not what you want them to be. Like
that's so important. And would you say when you're doing this quiz that you need to, because there are a lot of questions are about the business, so think about how you want to be perceived, I would say.
Exactly. How do you want,
still aligned to you,
who do you want to be in your business, and how do you want people to feel when they come into your business? That's the essential feeling you need to have, and then just answer the questions from that place.
The quiz is fantastic, and as it proves, it's very accurate. And you also get a chance to join Jamie's Facebook group at the end of the quiz as well, and definitely do, because you know you want to learn this, you want to embrace this, especially if you don't have clarity right now and it stops you from taking action. This is where it really helped me, and you know, ever since, I really attribute that there was a huge growth after that moment when I became aligned with my archetypes. So this is brilliant. Jamie, thank you so much for wonderful information. I'm sure, you know, there's so many people are so inspired. I am definitely even more inspired. And
you want to know where the quiz is?
Oh, absolutely. I will have a link here for my...
okay, sure.
Yeah, but if you want to say it,
no, that's okay. If the link is there, that's okay.
Perfect. Guys, after this is now finished, go and take that quiz, find out what your main archetype anyway, because there's going to be only one at the end of this quiz. But when you join Jamie's community, if you have any questions, definitely pop them there or pop them here in this interview. Thank you again, Jamie, for being my lovely guest.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Juliette. This was really fun. You are awesome.
Thank you. And you just make my day again. And guys, I will see you next week on another episode of Show Up, Stand Out. Go and take that quiz. See you later. Bye.